Good morning, everyone. I hope you are having a great Friday the 13th and full moon. So it might be a little hectic today. Ride with it and have some fun. I just wanted to make a quick video. I've had some questions this past week about Summit. So I thought I'd make a little video showing you how to maneuver it. And if you have never used Summit, this will be great for you to experience it and get an idea of what I'm talking about when I say focus area, project, content assessment. And even for those returning, this is especially important to you because Summit has changed a lot from my understanding. And I have no experience in Summit before this summer. So what I know to be Summit and what you know to be Summit are two different things. So I was not aware of that, and I apologize for any confusions this caused, but we're going to go over it today. So I highly encourage you, even if you say that you have experience in Summit, this will still be beneficial for you. So please stick with me and follow along. So I'm going to share my screen with you. All right, so my SLP looks a little different than what yours does, but it's the same concept. I'm going to go to my Science 4, and although I'm picking one particular subject, the layout's the same for everyone. So don't get caught up in the details, just the basic concept, and it's the same for everyone. So whenever you get into your class, you'll see overview. I have learners and feedback and all this extra stuff. Don't worry about that. The only thing I want you to focus on, you have overview and plans. Plans, there's not going to be anything in there from now on because that confused myself and many of you. So we're not going to do that anymore. You're just going to have overview. And when you're in overview, the first thing you should see is project overview. And this is important to read before you begin a project and even to check back in as you're completing a project. And it tells you the essential question, which is, you can translate that into objective, why you're experiencing this project, what you're going to learn and why. And these are enduring understandings are what you're going to come out of the project with. You're going to learn this. Description describes what it is. Cognitive skills are what we are assessing, what we're looking for you to achieve. So by the end of this particular project, these cognitive skills are going to be measured, and we use the cognitive skills rubric, which you can view, you have access to. I encourage you to look at that before you submit a final product for your projects so that you know how I'm going to be grading you. And of course, we have our focus areas. Powers are the required, additionals are not, but I highly encourage you, if you're interested, doing those kind of like a little bonus. So it's very cool. Gives you extra practice, but I'll come back to talk about these in a little bit. The next thing you will see is your pace and guide and details for that whatever your project name is. And we'll come back to this in a second. Next, and this is where the confusion begins, I have here week 2, week 3, and when you click on it, there's things to read, but nothing to turn in here. Like you have your course scavenger hunt that I put in here, but I had you email that to me. The reasoning being is that in the past, these week 2, week 3, and so forth were announcements in the Google Classroom. We no longer use Google Classroom with the SLP. It's all in here. So whenever you see something that says week and a number and something following an introductory lesson, general notes, this is from me telling you what this week is going to be about. And in this case, I did have an assignment. In this case, I did not. I asked you to watch my video and review the PowerPoint that I used in that video and gave you a highlight of what the week would be like. And that's going to be the case for the whole year. These are announcements. These are not assignments for you to turn in. So yes, they are labeled as checkpoints, and checkpoints typically do mean you're turning something in, but not in this case. If you see week 2, week 3, week 10, these are just announcements. You do not have to turn anything in. And then we go down further, and this is the legitimate checkpoints. So the first checkpoint we have here is, what do I need to know? And that checkpoint is found up here. This is the assignment that you're turning in for it. This is what we're working on. And this tells you what is the focus of this checkpoint, the point of why you're doing this assignment. And resources. These are your resources for this project. The things that you're going to be using to learn. If you're thinking this in terms of a brick and mortar typical classroom, this is your textbook. This is your packet of worksheets that are being handed to you. The tasks that you do in class. This is so important. This is what you are learning. So if you skip over these, you're not learning. If you go right to the checkpoint and you do the checkpoint, you're not going to be able to tell me what you learned, show me what you learned without learning. This is very, very important. You need to go through your resources, read, watch the videos, do the activities, because this is how you learn. I want to see what you learn, not what you can piece together. Okay? Because I'm a teacher, and I want to teach you, and I want to see what you're learning. I'm not here to give you work and bore you to death. I'm here to help you learn. And yes, in the long run, you might think like, oh, I don't need to learn this. I'm just going to turn it in so I can have my free time. In the long run, learning now is going to benefit you. You want to learn and have your brains grow. So this is really, really important. You cannot skip these. I can't stress that enough. So let me check. I wrote everything down so I don't forget anything because I've had some questions. I wrote everything down. Overview, pacing a week. Oh, okay. So again with the checkpoints. One thing I want to point out, see how it says checkpoint 4? Well, this is our first checkpoint that we're turning in an assignment, so it should be checkpoint 1. But again, I have these announcements in, so it throws it off. So when I refer to a checkpoint, I refer to the title. So I will not say checkpoint 4. I will say checkpoint, what do I need to know? Or checkpoint coastal impact instead of checkpoint 5. And when you click on your checkpoint,
they found a snake in here this morning.
So when you click on the checkpoint, in the past, what you see would have been on this side, you would have saw your resources for learning. Now they're in this checkpoint down here. Okay? They are down here. So you have to do all these tasks before you even open up the checkpoint. So instead of opening up the checkpoint and seeing what you have to do over here, you do all these resources and then you do the checkpoint. You will not see anything on this side or this side. And we have noticed a little bit of a problem because this used to be Google Docs. Now this is SLP notebooks. And SLP notebooks are fine, but they don't allow you to manipulate as much as the Google Docs did. So I'm going to make a separate video, a little tutorial, so you can come back to it when you need it, not necessarily having to go through all of this video to find it. So I'll make it separate of how you can manipulate this program. But we'll come back to that. All right. I apologize for the noise in the background. Okay. And something else I wanted to express is the difference between a project and a focus area. The project, excuse me, like I said, it's all about the learning. It is showing me what you know and you processing everything and growing your brains. So what you need to do is complete your projects. This is so important. Invest as much as you can into this. And then your focus areas, these are important too. I'm going to click on this one. It shows you your objectives and some additional resources to view, and then you take a test. And these objectives are specific points that are talked about in the project. So completing the focus areas help you with the project. But here's the thing. The best way I can explain this is I could use math terms or I can use a different set of math terms. So since I have learners on here who range in age varyingly, I'm going to use my other math terms, and we're going to talk about pi. Everyone loves pie. If you don't love pie, imagine a cake, but we're going to go with a pie. If you cut a pie into 8 pieces, okay, the project is 7 pieces of that pie. That one other piece is your focus areas. If you do just the focus areas, that one piece of pie, yeah, it's going to taste good or feel good to have that one piece of pie, to complete these tasks, get a grade immediately, an immediate satisfaction. But what about the other 7 pieces? I'm offering to give you 8 pieces of a pie, and you just want to sacrifice that for one piece. No, I mean, yeah, I'll probably get a stomach ache, but I want 8 pieces of a pie. Definitely 7's better than 1. So, although it takes a really long time to do the projects, it's important because that's the whole, like, majority of your learning and your grade. And if you put those 7 pieces with that one piece, you get a whole pie. So if you combine your project with your focus areas, you get a whole surrounding of learning. And if that doesn't make sense, it's okay, because my brain works in funny ways. And I can explain that differently or have someone explain that to you who is not as crazy as I am. And we can go over that at another time if that doesn't make sense. The other thing, I don't have this on my view, and I don't want to get into a student view and show you a student's work, because that wouldn't be fair, is the blue line in your year view. I don't want you to be afraid of this line. So for those of you who are experienced with Summit, you know what I'm talking about. For others, you may not. If you go to your year view and your drop-down menu over here, all of your classes will line up on your screen, and it'll show you all your projects and focus areas for those classes. And there is one blue line that goes down the line. And that line shows you where we are in the year and where you should be with your learning. Well, if you look at the line, you might have noticed that it is really far into the year, but we just started. That's because this is Summit's system. They created that line and they set the terms to be the very beginning of September to, I believe, the very end of May. And their time moves differently than ours does. They did not start that line for our first day, and it will not end for our last day. So that line moves at a different pace than we do. So if you see that line move and you're not done with a project, don't panic, because chances are that we're not done with that project. I have the dates for you listed. As long as you're within those dates, you do not have to panic. So if you see that line moving and you're not where you're supposed to be, don't panic. We'll talk about it one-on-one. It's not a big deal. Don't freak out. Okay. And the last thing I'm going to talk about, back into my courses here, and I chose to talk about this one because this pacing guide that I have for this class is very detailed compared to some of the other ones in terms of what's going on. It has all 3 colors I'm going to talk about, so that's why I picked this particular class. But again, everyone is set up the same way. So this is Integrated Science 4, and insert your course name here, Pacing Guide 4, and this is for the Making Waves project. And everyone has this set up. We have the days, so like lesson days 1 through 5, 6 through 10. The dates, they're all listed here. And then I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And you know very well that you do not have to complete these on those specific days. You have to go in order, but if you want to do Monday and Tuesday on Wednesday and then do Wednesday on Thursday and work on the weekend, that is fine. Just go in order, get all of this done by that date, we're solid. No worries. And why do I have, what in the world do I have listed here and why is it highlighted? Well, I'm going to go here and show you. So our first checkpoint in this course is what do I need to know? And again, it'll look a little different on yours, and that's okay. So on day 1, I say entry event, notes best beach. Okay, well, entry event isn't highlighted. So I'm going to go to my resources. Oh, and here's an entry event. Oh, Miss Tori must want me to look at this slideshow. Now, notes best beach. Well, that's highlighted. I might need a little bit more information about that. You go down here to details. Okay, so that was on day 1. That was the second point, and right here it is. It's highlighted too. Notes best beach. And it tells me all about what I'm going to do for that. And it's listed. Now I go back up here and I see the same thing for Tuesday. That's in green, so that means I got to go down here again. And day 2, and there it is. And then I also had task 1, and it was highlighted yellow to tell you that this is a task. And all the details for that task are here. The other color is blue, and that is a checkpoint. So be sure that we look into doing your checkpoint, and sometimes that will be down here with more details as well to help you out. If this is confusing, please let me know. I'm doing this to help, but if it's not a help, let me know, because I have one side of this view and you have the other side. So what makes sense in my head, you might think, oh my God, she's crazy. And that's okay, but you have to tell me that I'm crazy. so I can fix it. I hope that has helped. Please watch this and message me with any questions, concerns, Miss Tori, you're crazy, you don't make a lick of sense that you may have, and we'll work on that.